my usual check to make sure that you can hear me. 1 second. Um, but we have sound, we have volume, we are ready to rock. So, hey, thank you so much for taking a minute out of your busy day to tune in with me for a second and hear what's been kind of for me when it comes to like this conversation around like how to know when it's quitting season, right? When it's time to quit. There's always this talk about, well, I don't know when the time is right, or I'll figure it out. I'll make a move when the time is right, right? But sometimes there is there there is a lack of awareness about that time really is. And so I'm going to share a couple of nuggets really quickly. I promise I won't be long, so bear with me. If you happen to be here with me live, hey, thank you for being here. And drop a comment and let me know if you're here. I came bearing sequins. You know, I'm feeling myself today. I got my sequins on. Sequins are my jam. Okay, so if you happen to be watching this live or on the replay, do me a favor and either drop like the sparkle emoji or drop a fire sign, and I'll know that you were here at some point, either live or during the replay, right? So hey, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm super excited that you're here with me whenever and wherever. Um, if you don't know who I am, I'm Danielle the coach. I'm a certified life and leadership coach. I help millennial entrepreneurs unapologetically break up with the status quo and create the life of their wildest dreams. For different people, that looks like different things. For a lot of people in this season, what that looks like is my millennial entrepreneurs that are still juggling a 9 to 5, helping them create their corporate exit strategies so that they can quit with confidence, right? But the work that I do also supports millennial entrepreneurs in managing and balancing the demands of not only life, but also leadership and all of the things that it takes to like build their legacy, right? There's levels to this. And so that's who I am, what I do, and who I do it for. And so I'm super excited that you are here. So if you know someone who needs to know about me or needs to hear this message and hear what I'm getting ready to share, do me a favor and share this with them, send it to them, tag them, whatever you got to do, and share the wealth. So this topic around knowing when it's quitting season, right? It's a little unorthodox the way that I think about it. But here's what I know. So one thing that you will notice is that you'll start to feel like unfulfilled. You'll start to feel like you're literally withering away in spaces and in situations and around people that are no longer serving you. It becomes almost unbearable to kind of get on that hamster wheel another day to do whatever it is that you're doing to keep somebody else's lights on. And that could be, your 9 to 5. It could be in a relationship, right? It could be like your mindset and your behaviors, how you're showing up. You're showing up as not as the most powerful version of yourself, right? But all of these things, whether it's one, two, or all of the above, it lends itself to you showing up in a way that you're not yourself, right? And you just feel like you are literally passing time, and all you're here to do is that thing, and that's it. It doesn't, you don't have joy, you don't have fulfillment, like you're starting to hate life because this thing that's in the way that's no longer serving you, or these things that are in the way that are no longer serving you, they take up so much of your time, and there's such an energy suck as well that you find yourself sitting back like, first of all, I don't even know how I got here, And second of all, I don't even have the energy or the mental capacity because I'm so drained, I'm so burnt out. I don't even know how I can get myself out of this space. And that space I call like the quicksand, because it's constantly sucking you in for more reasons than three. And it's like, but you know, as part of you is still aware enough and awake enough to know that this is not where you really want to be. It's no longer where you want to be, but you're so zapped that you can't even pull yourself out of it by yourself, right? And that's one way to know when it's quitting season. Like, enough is enough. You're not on this earth to live a life like a robot, right? You're not a robot. You're meant for so much more. You're meant for so much more. And maybe your time in that space um, has expired. Maybe your assignment and what you were there to do that may have even brought you joy at some point in time, right? Maybe you've checked the box. Maybe you checked the box a long time ago and you got comfortable and you got complacent. It's possible. It happens to the best of us. Ask me how I know, right? But that's a for sure sign that it's quitting season, right? Is that feeling of like I'm withering away, like I'm not growing, I'm not flourishing, I'm not being challenged, I'm not learning anything, and I'm also not doing something that brings me joy. I may not also even be doing anything that leverages my natural gifts and my natural abilities, right? That's a for sure sign. And let me qualify this. When I talk about it being quitting season, right? So for us as go-getters, it's about quitting by means of pivoting into something different. And that's a different flex, right? It's one thing to throw your hands up and say, oh, I quit. And people hear quit and they get their panties all in a bunch because they think you're a quitter. Like, no, I'm no longer available for places, spaces, and things and people, nor opportunities that are no longer serving me. It's a two-way street. There is something else that I am divinely assigned to do. There is something else that I'm purposed to do, and I am in pursuit of that. And it's pivoting out of what's no longer serving you into what is. A minor readjustment, right? It could be major, but like there's a readjustment. The second thing is the way that you know that it's quitting season is when you recognize that your mental health is being affected. And so part of that, like withering away, these are kind of like connected, right? But when you really sit back and think about it, you recognize like you're not yourself, right? You're not joyful. You don't feel fulfilled. You feel like life is having its way with you. You're not in control. Like your life is out of control. You may have even used that term as well. You feel like you are overcommitted to doing all of these things and being all of the things and all the ways to all of the people that you care about, and some you might not even care about, but you're still committed and showing up and doing whatever it is, right, that's asked of you, and there's not much left for you at the end of the day, right? So that begins to take a toll on your mental health. And maybe you realize it, maybe you didn't, but your mental health being affected is a for sure sign that it's quitting season, right? And there's an opportunity to enlist um, different help to help you kind of right align that space in your life. And by no means am I a mental health professional, but I'm absolutely a mental health advocate. And if you feel like your mental health is out of alignment, then I highly recommend you get with a mental health professional as soon as possible because your mental health absolutely matters. Last but not least, so there's many signs, right? But the third one that I'll share with you today is that no-brainer opportunities don't actualize. And so what I mean by that is just like things that you feel like you are for sure shooing for, opportunities that got your name written all over them, like you know you're best qualified, and this could be personal or professional. And it's just like you know that you know that you know, like that whatever it is going to happen, it's going to actualize, it's going to manifest. And then when it doesn't, it's like, wait a minute, like what just happened here? Are we talking about practice? Like, what are we doing? And you're not understanding why it seems like doors are being closed in your face. And you're not understanding why you're being overlooked for maybe positions or opportunities, right? That's a wake up call. And I'll share a personal story of mine. So, in the season of me trying to figure out, like what's next, was climbing the leadership chain, climbing the ladder at my former place of employment, and there was a new like policy put into play about, in order to step into the next most senior position, you had to take like this leadership assessment, right? And that was the next level for me. So of course, okay, I get information, get registered for the assessment, all of the things, go through the motions, I take the assessment, and basically promotion is dependent on this assessment. And I don't pass the leadership assessment. And when I tell you I was hot, I was on fire, right? I was on fire because I'm like, this is my way out of like this space that I feel like I've outgrown. And okay, I'm gonna shift my career trajectory and want to step into senior management. So now here's this barrier in my way, right? The resistance is showing up for me in like rare form. I didn't know it was resistance then, but that's what happened. And so for me, it was just like I realized, of course, hindsight being 2020, me being far removed from where I was in that space in my life and that time in my life, I can look back and recognize that that was intentional, because I had no business moving up the chain in that way, because I was supposed to be doing what I'm doing now. And had that opportunity, had that gone otherwise, right, I would be there chasing titles and money, and not thinking about my purpose, and not being frustrated enough to like look internally to say, okay, God, why am I here in the first place? What is my purpose? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Because this ain't it, right? And so when there's opportunities like and let me qualify this, right? So why it didn't make sense to me, like that I didn't pass the assessment, which was a barrier to me moving into upper management, it was because I was already proven as an effective leader in the organization in several ways, as a supervisor, as a leader, as a manager, as someone who was the thought mastermind behind creating, an employee resource group for millennials that never existed, and created a whole movement behind it that was unprecedented in my organization. So me not being qualified to be a leader because of this assessment, the math wasn't mathing. And I'm a math major. It wasn't making sense. And so it was just one of those like bang your head against the wall kind of moments, like, God, what is happening? Like, really? We're talking about practice. What is going on here? And so now looking, like I said, hindsight being 2020 and looking back on things, I realized that it was by design. And even though it didn't feel good, even though I was so hurt and so mad, because I thought I had planned, and it wasn't panning out the way that I had planned. So I see that all closed doors aren't a bad thing, right? It's pushing you into your pivot, right? Which is what you need to quit what's no longer serving you, right? Because there's something else. There's a new assignment, right? There's something else that you're supposed to explore. There's something else that you're supposed to conquer. There's other people that you're supposed to serve. There's other places and spaces where your gifts are needed and your talents are needed. So when you start to notice those three things happening, and those are just three of many, right? That's a for sure sign that it's quitting season, and that instead of continuing to rev into a brick wall thinking you're gonna bust it down yourself, it's a good opportunity to like step back and look circumspectly at the bigger picture. Like, okay, what is happening here, right? And what am I willing to do about it? And a part of the thing, when you get into that space about what is happening and what am I willing to do about it, that's when you begin to think about your strategy, right? About what's next and your exit strategy to get you out of where you are into what's next. So if you have not given thought to your exit strategy, and if you don't have the clarity around what's next for you and how you might be able to quit by pivoting out of what's no longer serving you, then I want to invite you to check out my free video that's also linked in the description of the video. And I'll go back and put it in the comments as well. And it shares in the video, I share how millennial entrepreneurs are quitting decades long careers and leaping confidently into the life of their wildest dreams, right? When they find themselves in this space back against the wall, like how they end up coming out swinging, right? I share it all in my video. And so to watch the video, go to www.daniellethecoach.com/quit again, or you can click the link either above or below the video, depending on where you're watching it. Okay. If you were here with me live, thank you so much. If you caught the replay, do me a favor and type replay in the comments so that I know that you checked it out, and I'll come back through and show you some love. Okay. Thank you so much. And I hope this day, and I'll see you next time.